Path to Citizenship. Never in her life had Nightingale enjoyed walking out of the Institute of Alinea so much. More than once she caught herself skipping, and she had to slow herself back into a walk. Even so, there was no hiding the pride in her steps. "I have to admit, I expected it to be harder," Rook was saying, his voice low as he and the others followed behind her. "But I'm not complaining. If the monsters in the wild are going to be anything like that, I'd say we're well prepared." Zeke's contribution to their overall dignity was the absence of a cigarette, though Nightingale caught one palmed behind one of his fingers whenever she saw his left hand. "I'm just glad all the studying made a difference," Zeke commented. "I get that we don't age anymore, but it would still suck to have to spend 2 more years in school." As they walked into the courtyard with their fellow students, Nightingale was surprised by just how many people were waiting outside. She noticed that a lot of eyes were on them and tried not to look too self-conscious. She supposed that when royalty did something like this, everyone paid attention. The crowd outside was mostly made up of the parents and families of hopeful graduates, clapping and embracing their children. Nightingale's old Madarin parents waited just outside the door. Queen Kezia reached her first, crossing the distance in a few quick strides and scooping her into a tight hug. "Nightingale! Mom!" Despite how delicate the queen looked, Nightingale found the hug so tight she had trouble breathing. "Do you have any idea how long it's been since someone scored that well?" Kezia released her, though one hand still lingered on her shoulder. King Balthazar stood on his wife's other side, bright robe fluttering a little in the breeze. He didn't reach out to embrace her as the queen had done, but he did nod with obvious respect. "You are a credit to the family, Nightingale. My hope for your potential was clearly well placed. Of course, your companions deserve equal credit." He looked past her, first to Zeke. "I have come to expect quality from the Zhang house, and you have not disappointed." "Thank you, Your Grace." Zeke bowed, though only briefly. Nightingale got out of the way, gesturing eagerly at the members of their team she didn't know before the test. "Rook Lars, if I'm not mistaken." Balthazar extended a hand to Rook. For all his size, his strength, and confidence, Rook had gone pale and rigid. He could only nod, his mouth hanging open a little. "Your performance is to be commended, young man. I suspect Alinea may come to know your family better in the coming years." "I hardly deserve such praise, my king," Rook said, adding more finesse to the same bow that Zeke had made. "It was an honor to have the opportunity to take the mast alongside your daughter." Balthazar's smile faltered a little as he finally turned to Remy and nodded sternly without addressing her further. Nightingale could see similar concern on Kezia's face, and a brief look of confusion the king and queen shared. Remy squirmed under their look and did an awkward courtesy. "Your Grace?" she muttered. Balthazar forced a smile and then cleared his throat, holding his arm out. Queen Kezia nodded and stepped forward. She offered each of them an envelope. "The graduation ceremony is tonight in Alinea proper. I look forward to seeing each of you there." The king and queen did not wait for a response, but strode away into the crowd. Soon enough, they were buried by excited parents and cheering onlookers. As soon as Nightingale's parents disappeared, 3 more people hurried over. A stern-looking woman was the first to arrive. She was wearing a formal dress but a slightly more relaxed smile. Nightingale recognized her as Ida Zhang, Zeke's mother and second only in power to her own Madarin parents. "Balthazar told me how well you scored, and I was pleasantly surprised. Congratulations!" She offered a single delicate hand. Zeke took the offered hand. "Thank you," he replied in an attempt to match his mother's regal etiquette. There was no missing the family resemblance between them. "It was a cooperative effort. My contributions were only a part of our success." "All Alinea knows by now," Ida said a little quieter. "Your success breeds confidence badly needed when the future is so uncertain." She looked up, inclining her head just slightly to Nightingale. "In the life waiting outside these gates, every success belongs to the people. You have given them something to celebrate." Nightingale had a little trouble holding herself as Ida Zhang seemed to expect. That didn't mean she failed to use the proper respect in her tone, however. "It was just the mast. Everyone had to take it, and plenty of students did just as well as us." Ida smiled a little, though there was something indulgent in it. "Perhaps, but it was reassuring evidence that Alinea's ruling families have the strength to lead them through the difficulties we face." Nightingale nearly jumped as Ida abruptly tugged her son close for a hug, despite all the people watching. Nightingale retreated a little, looking away as Ida whispered something into his ear. Zeke smiled, but he didn't manage to say anything before Ida broke apart and vanished into the crowd with a graceful flutter of her gown. Just a few feet away, there was nothing at all of forced dignity in the way Rook's parents embraced him. "Mom, Dad," Rook said as he embraced them. His mother seemed so overwhelmed she could barely speak. "I'm just so proud." "You know who that man was, right?" his father said in awe. "King Balthazar," Rook replied. "Founder and ruler of Alinea." He tried to sound as casual about it as he could, but there was no keeping the smile from his voice. "I guess it's pretty amazing." "King Balthazar our son recognizing our son." His mother hugged him again, though not so tight this time. "We couldn't be more proud." When she let go, his father patted him on the back. "We'll still miss you on the farm, son, but I'm glad you left. You've got more in store for you than weeding and mending fences." "Thanks, Dad. Don't need to exaggerate, though. I'm sure it's not—" "Oh, it is," his mother cut him off. Then she lowered her voice and leaned in close to him. "The captain of the King's Guard wanted to have a word with you tonight before the graduation party." "Really?" Rook tried to hide his smile, but his grin widened despite his efforts. "All right, I'll say goodbye to my friends and we can take off." While the others were preoccupied speaking with their parents, Remy was alone, staring awkwardly at the slip of paper with her grade. She shuffled her feet, retreating a step or two every time she thought nobody was looking. Remy's escape was thwarted with an unexpected hug so tight it scrunched her wings and drove the air from her lungs. "Hey!" Nightingale might be the shorter of the two, but she was heavy enough to make Remy wince. "You're coming to the graduation tonight, right?" Nightingale let go, flashing her own invitation near Remy's face. Remy tried to swat it away. "Where's your dad?" Nightingale looked around expecting to see another man with wings meandering about the crowd. "He's not coming," Remy thumbed at her math scores. "He'd be happy I scored so well, though." "Oh, so he doesn't live in the city? That means you're at the dorms by yourself tonight." Nightingale trailed off for a moment. "But maybe you'd like to come with me instead. I'm staying with Zeke's family. You could probably hang out with us until the party." Remy glanced briefly back at the Institute and remembered the lonely little dorm room waiting for her inside. "Are you sure your parents won't mind if we're hanging out? You saw how they acted when they found out I was on your team during the mast." "Yeah, I don't really care about that," Nightingale said dismissively. "What good is being a princess if I can't even choose my own friends? So come on, you want to hang out or not?" Remy smiled, looking at the invitation. "Sure, that sounds nice."